You're welcome back to the market, please. Now, Deputy Government Statistician David Combat has urged consumers to adopt the use of locally produced goods more to reduce the rate of imports into the country. This comes after an increase in the Consumer Price Index for the month of July to 9.4% from 9.1% in June.
2018, the rate was 8.8%, moved slightly to 9.1% for August 2018. The same figure for September 2018, and we see a dip, a downward trend, up to January 2019 of 8.3%, and we have seen that an upward trend for the month of February, dipped again in March, increased in April, decreased in May, decreased slightly in June, and has increased by 0.3 percentage points to 8.5% in July 2019. So it's a trend that is fluctuating. We look at the regional breakdown. The Upper West region recorded the highest combined and non-food inflation rates, while the Ashanti region recorded the highest food inflation rate in July 2019. And I must say again here that when we say Ashanti has the highest food inflation rate, does not mean that food prices are highest in Ashanti. What it means is that when you compare the price of food in Ashanti in July 2019 to July 2018, you see an increase higher than the other regions.
Now, cocoa buying firm PBC could be removed from Ghana Stock Exchange by November this year. That is, if it fails to publish its audited 2018 financials within the next 3 months. George Rafi has more in this report.
The warning from the exchange is coming after it announced the suspension of PBC from trading on the market from this Thursday. Let's listen to the acting managing director of the exchange, Eko Afezi, on options available to managers of the market.
Normally, we give them a reasonable period of no more than 3 months. After that, we'll have to take a decision on whether to delist them or not. But you remember, last year we created what we call a watch list. So sometimes we can put you on the watch list for everybody to know what's happening and give you time to rectify all these things before we delist the company. It is not that we are fan of delisting. We don't want to be delisting companies all the time. But then companies must make sure that they abide by the rules once you're listed.
But let's look at the bit about the delisting as well. So apart from if I fail to perform and you delist, would that be the only punitive action of taking me off the market or letting the company know that if you fail to do this, it's not just about taking you off?
In some jurisdictions, apart from just delisting a company, sometimes some impose sanctions, etc. We haven't done that for listed companies. Normally we do that for the LDMs.
Apart from delisting, we could look at some possible sanctions against you?
We need to have that in our rules. We need to make sure that sanctions regime is approved by the regulator, and also they're well grounded in our rules in order to be able to do that.
The suspension could mean that PBC can no longer carry out any corporate action through the exchange, while for retail and institutional investors, they would have been deprived of the possible price appreciation if there was some trading on the market. Well, the share price of PBC closed trading on the Ghana Stock Exchange yesterday at 3 pesos. The highest value ever recorded on the Ghana Stock Exchange for PBC this year was 4 pesos. It is not clear for now how this could negatively affect the company, especially at the time that some unionized workers are pushing for a management change. Some market watchers are also worried about the ability of PBC to quickly deal with these listing requirements, looking at the current challenges facing the company. Some have blamed PBC's problems on the lack of capital injection from shareholders, while others think that it is a managerial issue.
Now, Cocoa Board is forecasting a production target of 950,000 metric tons for the next year's crop season. This is what the board is targeting as it prepares to raise some $1.5 billion from some 20 banks next month. We have details in this report.
Cocoa Board, in the notice to the Finance Committee of Parliament, based its forecast on trends in cocoa production over the past year and some good agronomic practices being adopted by the board. The 950,000 metric tons of cocoa that has been set is slightly higher than the 930,000 metric tons, which was even reviewed downwards by Cocoa Board. So which banks would lead Cocoa Board to raise this 1.5 billion cedi syndication loan on September 13 this year? Based on documents submitted to Parliament, they include Cooperative Robo Bank, Ghana International Bank PLC, MUFG Bank, Naxos, Nedbank and Societe Generale. These institutions, we understand, will ensure that Cocoa Board gets the targeted amount at a favourable interest rate. Cocoa Board is expected to also give these monies to the licensed buying companies to help purchase beans from cocoa farmers from October this year.
Let's also stay in agriculture. Government is urging more private sector participation in the agri sector to drive further the development of this sector. According to the Vice Chairperson for Food and Cocoa Affairs for the Select Committee of Parliament, Abraham Juma Odum, private sector participation is necessary to back government's efforts at improving agri's contribution to GDP. He spoke at the launch of the 2019 IFETCH Flamingo Awards in Accra.
The planting for food and jobs, planting for export and rural development, distribution of subsidized fertilizers and the Raring for Food and Jobs programs are among many initiatives by government to improve productivity in the agriculture sector. Vice Chair for Food and Cocoa Affairs for the Select Committee of Parliament, Abraham Juma Odum, noted there's a need for more private sector participation to support government's efforts.
The ministry is also looking at getting the private sector involved. You see, ministry alone cannot do it, and like I said, agric is done by people and it's not done by government, and therefore I am very happy, especially with the ministry, the minister's efforts and preoccupation in engaging the private sector, and also in the area of mechanizing agriculture, because at the end of the day, if we are talking about productivity, we can only get high productivity when we are taking a look at technology.
The Vice Chair for Food and Cocoa Affairs for the Select Committee of Parliament was speaking at the launch of the 2019 Institute of Financial and Economic Journalists Flamingo Awards under the theme Towards Agribusiness and Sustainable Development. Professor John Gachi is the chair of the awards jury.
Our implementation of agricultural policies are very weak, so we need to step up our implementation, commitment to implementation, and incentivize people to engage in agriculture. In fact, other places where agriculture is performing excellently is because the private sector is incentivized and they engage in agriculture as a commercial activity. Most of our people that we go around that they are farmers, they actually engage in subsistence farming. That is the job that their grandfathers gave them when they were born. So that is what they are doing. But we need to get to a point where we get a roadmap of incentive to drive the private sector really into agribusiness.
Entry for the IFETCH Flamingo Awards is open for all business and financial journalists from now to the 12th of September 2019. For Joy Business, Sheila Tamaklo reporting.
Now, some individuals are facing prosecution for violating the Excise Tax Stamp Act, which makes it compulsory for all beverage and excisable products to be affixed with a tax stamp before sale. Some of these persons who have been put before court, if found guilty, may face jail terms or penalty counts of more than 200 units. Head of the Excise Tax Stamp at the Ghana Revenue Authority, Kwabena Ampao, disclosed this to Joy Business in an interview.
The case of a situation where somebody is caught with a fixed stamp, one, the goods involved are confiscated to the state, and two, those involved could be, upon summary conviction, could be convicted for imprisonment to a term not more than 5 years, and the cost will be fined up to 300% of the duties and taxes involved. So these are the penalties that are involved. And as I said, the cases in court, those involved, if they are found guilty, they could be imprisoned. And the court can also say that pay this percentage of the duties and taxes as fine. The goods themselves have already been confiscated to the state.
It's live on the marketplace. Now, personalities like Joyce Abibu and Adwaye Boa, among others, are well-known Ghanaian designers, well-known for their exclusive clothing as well. But how easy is it for young designers to penetrate the already booming fashion industry in the country? Now, on AM Business, we visited some participants of Adom TV's reality show designed to enhance the ingenuity of local designers.
Elikem Kwegbulo is a fashion designer popular for what he calls his casual trendy designs. Although business is good, he usually gets orders from clients to source styles based on designs copied from most international platforms. He says this is a worrying situation as it undermines originality and rather promotes foreign fashion trends.
With the fashion business itself, I think it's very broad. And it cuts across a whole lot of sectors, from production to procurement to, marketing and all that. So sometimes where we find ourselves, I believe that we designers don't get the chance to actually put our creativity on what we are doing to actually enable us to actually get the kind of clientele we actually need. So you have us doing the same thing over and over and over again, like from January to December. We keep on doing the same thing because a client will bring a picture of someone's design. You actually need to produce that, and I believe that in the Western world, you actually associate yourself with the kind of things you wear. So when I get the opportunity to actually sell my designs out there, I think it will actually help my business and my brand as a whole.
However, all hope is not lost for young upcoming Ghanaian designers like Elikem. A local TV series dubbed Wonsanwe Juma Minim Adepam, which literally translates your handiwork, I Can Sew, has created a platform for designers to showcase the original work on your favorite TV channel, Adom TV. Week after week, these couturiers are given specific tasks and specifications to guide them in creating their own unique designs, and these designs are later modeled before a panel of judges critique them. Elikem, who is one of the 12 finalists, sees this as a great opportunity to promote his brand and, of course, to promote Ghanaian culture as well.
I think it's a great platform for every other person that will actually associate him or herself to that the Palm show, despite the fact that it's local. It doesn't matter. They are not looking at your language. You're actually seeing what you can actually do. So I think it's a great platform that everybody can ride on, You might not know, social media is very strong. You might not know who is watching.
Mark is another participant taking part in the fashion competition. Like Elikem, Mark complains of low recognition, particularly for him as a designer from a less developed community in the Western region. But thanks to this competition, he has the chance to showcase his talent to the rest of the world.
We that are from the rural areas, people doesn't consider us that we are good. Even though I may brag at that area that I'm a good designer, but people think, he's not good because he's in a village area or rural area. But this platform has shown everybody that this guy is really good. And even when he comes to our area, people are now starting calling me, say, you are doing well because we can see your design. And the platform too is a very big platform.
It turns out the promotion of local designs is not the only challenge facing the Ghanaian fashion industry. Fashioners have called for the need for Ghanaian designers to take advantage of the multi-trillion-dollar fashion industry as a highly viable avenue for job creation. Bernice is a designer with about 4 years' experience. She shares similar views. She believes that more government support will help improve the sector.
I don't see government doing anything like support fashion because I think fashion in Ghana is booming. People are loving it and it has come to stay. So I don't think the government is really doing much to support the fashion industry. So I'll advise that they look at that and invest more into the fashion business because it has come to stay and it's booming.
The president of the Association of Garment Manufacturers, Gregory Kanko, who doubles as the chief executive of Nalim Clothing, explains that the barriers in Ghana's fashion industry can be reduced if government plans out the industry appropriately.
Take a look at this. I think during the PSI, led by the current Minister of Trade, some about a little over 10 years ago, we started, okay, and we lost focus again, and we've gone back. We now have to pick it up. Ethiopia, for instance, in 3 years, shifted from earnings from the apparel industry of a little over 160 million to, in 3 years, 36 billion US dollars in 2018, okay, contributing 39% to GDP, okay. We started before Ethiopia. I'm very sure they probably learned a few lessons from us.
Although it is not clear how much exactly Ghana's fashion industry is worth, it is clear that Ghana has a long way to go to tap into the combined apparel and footwear markets in sub-Saharan Africa, which is estimated to be worth $31 billion according to data from Euromonitor International. The government is yet to announce any clear-cut plan for the industry. However, the Ministry of Business Development has assured that it will train young entrepreneurs in several areas, including fashion designing, to help create employment. Dr. Muhammad Awal is the Business Development Minister.
We are targeting women and building their capacity across the country, and there are areas like fashion, IT, agribusiness, tourism, communications, media. Building their capacity to make them support, grow businesses.
Well, for those fortunate to join the Adum TV competition, this platform has already given them some customers, even internationally.
I remember there's one man, he visited my shop, but he didn't do anything. After he saw me on Facebook, he called me. He's from Zimbabwe. He said that I did one of the design, he liked it. So I should try to do something for him and his family. So I did it. It was about 3,000 Ghana cedi, and I was very happy. It's through this platform that I get that business, and I'm looking forward that he will call me again, because the design that I did for him, it was very nice.
For the 6 remaining in the competition, they will do their best to leverage on this great opportunity given them.
So it's an NGO that will help young ladies especially to learn sewing. Later on I'll add other trades to it, but then basically it's all about sewing, how to sew like basic stuff. So it's going to be like 6 months. Yeah, so I think this is an exposure for me. So after this at the PAM, I'll embark on that. Yes.
Is this something you started or you?
Well, I started, like, I had these young ladies that I used to teach, but I only had one machine, so it didn't really work out. So I think this will help. Maybe after days, I can get support from places to help me, yes, and the exposure to people will see me and they know what I'm talking about, and if they need help, they can come to me to teach them.
I've learned a lot from them. We also, but we have different type of sewing. Someone may use different things you may not know. So I learned a lot from them. Something that we used in designing and stuff like that. I learned.
Actually, I've come here to win, and I'm trying my best to win it. So if I didn't get a chance, in 2 years' time, like, I want to be a very, very, like, unknown person here in Ghana as a fashion designer. Yeah, to help the young ones that they are coming up, that they want to learn sewing and stuff. So yeah, just to help them. You're welcome. Thank you.
So some fashion business for you out there. Now, before we go, Cabinet has approved the much talked about automobile bill to officially give legal framework for assembling of vehicles in the country. For this reason, import duties on new passage vehicles, SUVs and other trucks will be increased to 35%. Launching the automobile bill, Trade Minister Alan Chimantin detailed the policy framework for the bill, explaining that the move will, in the long run, reduce the import of vehicles, which amounts to 85,000 each year, costing over $1 billion. What this also means is that all investors venturing into establishment of vehicle assembling plants will enjoy corporate tax holidays. Now, my colleague Charles Aite has been at the launch. He joins us via phone for some updates. Charles, welcome to the marketplace. Hello, Charles.
Hello, Emmanuel. Could you hear me?
Exactly, I can hear you now. So what's in the automobile bill?
All right, so this automobile bill is sort of a legal framework to supervise the establishment of an assembly plant in Ghana. We do know that this was a topical issue in the beginning of this year, somewhere the late last year, about having us as a country assemble vehicles to boost the automobile industry. So talks have ensued, cabinet has finally approved, and it was also launched today in the presence of several stakeholders in the automobile industry. Now, as you rightly stated in your submission, there has been some sort of a tax waiver or, of course, tax holidays for these automobile firms who are willing to invest in this particular venture. So what it means, according to the Trade Minister, is to open the doors for more investors to come in and invest heavily in this budding industry to ensure that we also, as a country, become an automobile hub in West Africa. If you go in details into the regulatory framework, of which I have excerpts here in my hand, you'd realize that this waiver of import duty covers imported SKD vehicles, enhanced ones, and original equipment components. So the components of the tax waivers include import tax, the National Health Insurance Levy, GET funds, exempt, and special import levy. But one other interesting fact is also the point where the minister stated that about up to 35% import duty is going to be issued on imported vehicles moving forward, second-hand imported vehicles, trucks, and other SUVs that originally could be produced here in Ghana. So you could term it as kind of a protectionist approach that the Trade Minister is embarking on to ensure that we produce what we have and consume them as well.
All right, so if I heard you right, there's going to be an increase of 35% for imports or imported cars, right?
Exactly, of imported vehicles. So this is to check the amount of vehicles that we assemble here and the amount of vehicles that we can, as a nation, patronize from these assembly plants.
Are we talking about all categories? Are you talking about all categories of vehicles, SUVs?
Not all categories. As I stated earlier, this particular import duty is going to cover SUV vehicles, trucks, and other SKD vehicles as well that originally are intended to be assembled here in Ghana by these assembly plants.
All right. Many thanks for that update, Charles Aite, bringing us up to speed with the automobile bill that has been launched here in Accra, ending this afternoon's edition of the Marketplace. Many thanks for your company. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji. We are bringing more business on Business Live. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Have a good afternoon.